you, and Lala was actually talking a lot of smack about the Raiders. We'll see what Keyshawn Johnson has to say this morning, all right? You got something to say? You got something to say?
You win.
Smart man, already starting off winning. First takes in the half. Let's go.
The Raiders and Chargers clash for an AFC West shootout.
Look at the stats, putting them numbers up. I run it up, 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 run it up.
Touchdown! It's Eckler on the wheel, and the Raiders have a pulse here.
I run it up, run it up, run it up.
Eckler breaking away, touchdown!
All these guys stepped up big time today, so it was awesome to see from them.
Run it up.
Good day. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into First Take. Thank you for being with us. Keyshawn Johnson here with us. And, of course, Stephen A. Smith, loving life out here in L.A. Had fun at the game last night.
That's right.
Key, how we doing?
Is he? You all right, Key?
I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. I get it. The Raiders, the Raiders didn't do what I thought they would do last night, given the fact that it was an away home game for them. I get it. I feel even better because the Cowboys won and the Steelers lost, so I feel a little bit better.
You let me know when we can start the show.
Before we start the show, I just want Keyshawn to know that, because he's the L.A. native. He's the L.A. native. But last night, the Chargers hosted me. I mean, I was treated quite lovely, I might add. So far, is all that in a bag of chips.
Listen.
The arena is sensational. The owner suite,
You're kind of a big deal.
I mean, that suite, the hospitality, first class. The Chargers showed up and showed out. You saw the fellas greeting me to L.A., welcoming me to L.A., and then last night they did the same. I usually thought treatment like that was reserved for you, Keyshawn. Evidently, they think there's a new brother in L.A. I just wanted to let you know that. I just wanted to let you know.
You take it. You receive it. Listen, I enjoyed my room service in my bed, but it wasn't SoFi, that's for sure. All right, the Chargers took down the Raiders 20 and are off to a 3-1 start. Their lone loss coming in overtime against the Cowboys back in Week 2. The season marks their best 4-game start in several categories dating back to 2014, a season in which they finished 9-7 and narrowly missed the postseason. Keyshawn, I want to start with you. What message, did the Chargers send last night?
Well, I think they sent a pretty damn good message, Molly and Stephen A. I mean, that team is ridiculous all the way across the board. I go all the way back to when Justin Herbert came out of Oregon. I had an opportunity, obviously, being on the West Coast, being a Pac-12 guy, to watch him play his entire college career, and he was clearly my favorite college quarterback coming out that year in the draft. I have no reason or thought process to why the Miami Dolphins selected Tua instead of Justin Herbert when he was sitting right there perfectly on the board for them. But not only that, you look at the trees on the outside for them. Williams and Allen and Cook at the tight end spot. You talk about Austin Eckler at the running back position. They got a lot down as far as my money goes. They are ahead of Kansas City. They are ahead of Baltimore. They are ahead of the Cleveland Browns and even ahead of the Buffalo Bills. So I like them. I like Justin Herbert. I like what Brandon Staley is doing for them. There's no question about it. I went into the game thinking now, don't start laughing and grinning, that the Raiders would win the football game for a number of reasons. I just felt like it was Raider time, and they may get them. They may get them in Las Vegas. It's a long season. The Raiders are 3-1. It's a long season.
Okay, well, let me respond. Let me retort. First of all, I am laughing, and I am laughing because it's a beautiful thing to be more right than 2 Super Bowl champions. Michael Irvin came on yesterday with his drivel about what the Raiders were going to be. I knew you were coming on today, another Super Bowl champion. And, oh, by the way, don't think I'm going to let you off the hook for 1 second. I see these numbers here by Derek Carr, 21 to 34, 196 yards, sacked 4 times. I remember Keyshawn Johnson sitting up in there talking about what this brother was going to do, how this brother, top 5 quarterback, MVP candidate. There was a lot of stuff coming out of your mouth. Don't think I forgot. Don't make me call up the quotes. I'm glad you started off with your soliloquy the way that you did, because I had tape to call up in case you denied it, okay? I tried to tell you, Keyshawn Johnson, I tried to tell you about Derek Carr, right? Now, that's not to say that he's bad, because I still think he's a damn good quarterback. He's got a lot of promise. He's definitely moving upward. We get all of that. But in the end, when we look at the AFC West, I'm sorry, I'm thinking Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert long before I get to Derek Carr, and he showed me why last night. Apply a little bit of pressure, and it breaks pipes. In this case, it was Derek Carr's pipes. Now, I understand. with me like they were the Cowboys or something. Now, all I did was say, yo, let me see them, Paul. Let them prove what they are worthy of. Let them prove themselves. That's all I said, okay? They're not the Cowboys. I love the Raiders. I love Raiders Nation. I love the Raiders fans. I can't stand Cowboy fans, but I love Raider fans. But Raider fans actually showed me they may be a bit delusional themselves. This team was 6-3 last year. Ends up wetting the bed, losing 5 or 6 over a 6-week period, and they falter and don't even make the playoffs. And got an attitude with me?
Well, you doubted their quarterback.
Keyshawn. It's a problem,
and black
Keyshawn.
don't play.
That's what I wanted to say.
You definitely doubted their quarterback.
Well, part of the problem is you doubting them too much when they're headed in the right direction. Yes, the Chargers won. Yes, the Chargers are the leader of the pack in the AFC, in my opinion. But they, too, could come back to earth. We've seen the Chargers in the past, too, now. Let's not get it twisted, Stephen A., where they've been really good, and then all of a sudden they faded down the stretch. So it's a long season. There's no question about it. Did Derek Carr prove you wrong last night? Yes. Did I turn off the game when he threw the interception to Derwin James? Yes. All of that is true. There's no question about that. But you cannot deny that this team in the Raiders is headed in the right direction. When you look at the victories, when you look at the Baltimore defeat, you look at the Pittsburgh defeat at a time when we all thought Pittsburgh was okay. And then you look at the tough battle that they had against the Miami Dolphins. You got to tip your hat to them and say, okay, they're 3-1.
I mean, wait a minute. When you talk about they going in the right direction, how much room is there? It's a whole bunch of room to go in the right direction. You've been in the wrong direction for 20 years. I mean, damn. I mean, what have they done? I mean,
you don't like a healthy Jacobs? You don't like a healthy Jacobs? You don't like Henry Ruggs? You don't like what they're doing?
I do
you
like
that. That's headed in the right direction.
I like them.
And on top of that, their secondary, they was out there playing with me's and you's in the secondary last night. Come on now. Come on, be honest and be fair now.
I am being honest. Let me get to my point. My point is this, Keyshawn. I'm not going to allow you to twist this. I didn't say the Raiders were scrubs. My argument against you. Hold on. My argument against you was when you were talking about Derek Carr, top 5 quarterback. Derek Carr, MVP candidate. Do I have to call up the tape?
So let me ask you this, though. Let me ask you this. So prior to last night's debacle, was he not playing at an MVP level?
No, he's all right. 6 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, completing 64% of his passes. They 3-1.
Only quarterbacks was playing. Only quarterbacks was playing better than him is Mighty Mouse in Arizona. That's the only one. Dak Prescott, and Aaron Rodgers. And that's it.
Hold on. What about Josh Allen?
They played Houston and Miami, though. They played Houston and Miami. Houston and Miami.
What about Tom Brady before that? What about Matthew Stafford before then? Before this past week? What about that?
All them kind of together. You bunch them together.
We're going to move on soon. Key, I want to ask you this. Stephen A. said that he thinks the Chargers are potentially the best team in the AFC. Do you agree with that?
Yes, absolutely. In my power ranking, don't steal my rankings either. In my power ranking, I have them as the best team in the I have them as the best team in the AFC right now. Doesn't mean that Kansas City ain't going to creep back up in there and Buffalo going to get there, but right now, based on what I saw last night, Molly, the Chargers are the best team in AFC.
All right. Gentlemen, let's transition here. In more serious news, if Urban Meyer's first season as an NFL head coach wasn't off to a rocky enough start, well, it is now. The Jaguars head coach has come under fire after a video surfaced over the weekend that showed a young woman dancing close to his lap at his Columbus, Ohio restaurant. When he spoke to the media on Monday, Meyer said he had apologized to his team, family, and Jaguars owner Shad Khan for his actions on Friday night.
I just apologize to the team and staff and for being a distraction, just stupid. And so I explained everything that happened and owned it, and just stupid. Should not have myself in that kind of position.
Urban, did you fly back with the team, or did you stay in?
No, I stayed to see the grandkids, and we all went to dinner that night at the restaurant. And then there's a big group next to our restaurant, and they wanted me to come over and take pictures, and I did. And they were trying to pull me out on a dance floor, screwing around, and I should have left.
All right. Many have already questioned if the Urban Meyer NFL experiment will work, considering Jacksonville's 0-4 start. Those voices have now grown even louder. Here's Marcus Spears and Dan Orlovsky yesterday on NFL Live.
Every head coach I ever had said, don't be the guy to take focus off of what we're doing as a football team as we try to win games. It was a message that resonated throughout every locker room I've ever been in. Shad Khan, you on the clock, bro. It's time for you to find another head coach for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I don't want to sit in the locker room and hear you preach about culture and changing things. To your point, we're 0-4. We're 0-4, and you want me to constantly do the right things when you can't? I agree. I don't want you as my head coach anymore.
Okay. Keyshawn, I'll start with you here. Do you think the Jaguars should move on from Urban Meyer?
You know, I don't think that it's a fireable offense. I don't think that at all. I think Urban Meyer made a critical mistake, and he regrets that mistake, but I don't think that his job should be in jeopardy because he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. Now, what I mean by that is you hold players and other personnel people in the front office accountable for certain situations. As the leader of an organization, you say to them, don't put yourself in uncompromising positions, especially in the public setting. And Urban Meyer goes out there and he doesn't practice what he preaches. Now, I can't get caught up in what his family dynamics are. I don't want to even go down that road because I don't know and I don't want to claim to know. But I know as a leader of a football team and as a head coach, you typically tell your players and your front office people, don't get caught doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Guess what? Urban Meyer was caught doing those things. He apologized to the team. I get it. Yes, there's been other incidents. Yes, the strength and conditioning coach incident. Yes, the people didn't like that he brought in Tim Tebow and gave him an opportunity when most felt that it wasn't warranted. But what I would say is you don't fire him based on those sort of things. You try to correct them if he's all in. If he's not all in, then he will let you know that he wants to do something different, but I don't think it's a fireable offense at all. He simply made a mistake. What Urban Meyer has to do, Stephen A. and Molly, is practice what he preaches and not do different. That's it.
Yeah, of course, because right now he doesn't look like he can lead himself. Keyshawn, before Stephen A. jumps in, and obviously we want to hear from him, I just want to ask you a question as a former player who's been in NFL locker rooms. Would it bother you as a player when you've just suffered a heartbreaking loss that your coach doesn't fly back with the team?
Absolutely. Whether we had a heartbreaking loss or not, let's say we won by 50, Molly.
Yeah.
His ass is supposed to be on the plane with us. Because
that
was
concerning to me as well, in addition to obviously the compromising incident. But I'm saying, why aren't you going with the team?
What coaches typically do, and Stephen A. knows this, and you do too, Molly. Coaches, after wins and losses, they get on planes with the team to go back and do an autopsy on the game and the tape. Break it all the way down, see what the problems are, and fix it. Even if you are a coach, like Urban Meyer claims to be, that losses hunt him in the middle of the night. I've been around coaches that go right back to the facility and after the loss, and they're working on a Sunday night trying to see what the hell is wrong. Now, I've also been with coaches that will say, and I've done this probably 3 times in my career, we have a Sunday game or a Thursday game, and the coach will say, we're staying over as a team because players have family in the area. We're just going to stay over. We're going to leave on Monday. Urban Meyer could have done that. Why he didn't go back with the team, he can explain that to us because I simply don't know. But that was a mistake also by him.
Let me chime in here by saying this to everybody. First things first, I have not seen the video. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I've read it. I've read about what happened. Yeah. I have not seen it. Okay? Having said all of that, I'm disappointed in the reaction of Dan Orlovsky and Marcus Spears. Urban Meyer was wrong. Urban Meyer was foolish. Urban Meyer engaged in hypocrisy. What else is new? We've said this about Urban Meyer before. We said it about him when he was at Ohio State winning 90% of his games. We found out about his hypocrisy at Florida when he was winning national championships. He comes to Jacksonville, and the strength and conditioning coach formerly at Iowa, Chris Doyle, that he brought in and alienated some players. He was excoriated to some degree for all of those different things, okay? My point is, where the disappointment comes in is that Urban Meyer, looking at that as a fireable offense, his family, based on what I read, should have a huge problem with him. Yeah. No question about it. Where I jump off the rails with Keyshawn is only from the standpoint that it was a Thursday night game. He starred at Ohio State as a coach. He's right there in Columbus, and he was at his place of business, which he owns. And so, to me, there's nothing wrong with him going to Columbus, Ohio.
No, Stephen A., hold on. Let me jump back in on you, buddy.
Keyshawn, let me correct something about the Dan and Marcus, because we only showed part of their sound, and I honestly thought we were going to show the whole clip, and I wish they did. I just want you to know, they weren't reacting just to the isolated incident there, Stephen A.
Okay.
They were reacting to the racial issues and offending people with that, with the Tim Tebow, with how the team's not succeeding. So they weren't saying, this incident happened, you're gone. It was a compilation of incidents.
I appreciate the
And if we revisit the subject, we'll get that full sound.
I
just want you to make sure that you had that context.
Yeah, I didn't know.
And then also, as far as videos, real quick, Keyshawn, yes, there was one video where they showed him dancing with a woman, and now another video has also surfaced.
Okay, go ahead, Keyshawn.
Well, what I was saying, Stephen A., and I mentioned that, Molly, as you said, the incidents about the strength and conditioning coach, Tim Tebow. I made sure to get that in there because I wanted to have full context. But Stephen A., yes, Thursday night there was a game. Coaches in the National Football League that I've been around, whether it's a Thursday, a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, whatever the case may be, this is not a good football team. I understand you are in Columbus, Ohio, at your own establishment. It is your restaurant. I get all of those sort of things. But you just lost a damn football game, man. You didn't win. You didn't win. Get your butt on the plane with the rest of the coaches and the team so you can get back there and fix the problems that you have as a losing football team. On top of that, Stephen A., on top of that, you always claim, not you per se, but Urban Meyer, that winning is agonizing and it's hurtful and it hurts you and you can't take it and all. You shouldn't be celebrating after a loss. I don't give a damn if you're right across the street with your family.
That's where
Get on the plane with me, man.
Let me chime in here. Fair enough, because you played. And so I'm going to defer to you. No, seriously, I'm not joking. I'm going to defer to you on that in terms of whether a coach should travel back with the team or not. I'm not going to argue with you about that. But what I will tell you is this. When we point to what winning means to him, this is a man that's won 85% of his games over his 17, 18-year career. Last time we saw him at Ohio State, he was winning 90% of his games. He's never experienced losing like this in his life. And so this particular act itself could be a potential aberration. Why would it be an aberration? Because of what he's enduring. You know, you got people that go out there, unfortunately, drink and do other things because the pain of whatever it is that they're going through, they try to soothe themselves.
You're saying it's an unhealthy outlet.
It's an unhealthy outlet. And I think that that's what you can look at this here. Now, again, I'm so glad that you told me about Marcus and Orlovsky, and they weren't talking about the one incident, because I thought their position was based on this one incident.
No,
I don't believe this one incident is a fireable offense. I believe it's something he got to deal with his family. I'm wondering how the hell you said you went to see your grandkids, and then you end up with going out with your grandkids.
That was also a problem. The cover-up was horrific.
I'm just saying, you're out with your grandkids, but somehow you end up dancing, and some woman that looks like she's close to giving you a lap dance from what I read or whatever. I don't know how that happens with your grandkids around. That's a different subject for another day, okay? But what I'm saying to you is that I have an issue when people have personal things going on with their family and people think that that's a fireable offense. This is a team that lost 15 straight before this man took over the job. They've now lost 19 straight. In 4 games, he's already experienced something he's never experienced in his coaching career. So him going out and trying to soothe himself, by drinking, or, I'm assuming he was taking a drink and he was hanging out with family members or whatever. I'm not even talking about the woman because you got your family there. I don't know what you were thinking. That's a separate matter altogether. But to say that one incident itself is a fireable offense, it is not. It's embarrassing. It reeks of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
He needed to be called out on it. It's good that it's publicized so he could be checked. But that one incident is not a fireable offense. If you want to take into account everything, then I do get where Dan Orlovsky and Marcus Spears are coming.
And I'll wrap it up by one thing that Dan said, which I thought was so strong. He was just saying, if I was in a locker room, he can't lead himself clearly, with that poor decision making. So how can I trust that he can lead me and our team and our future if he can't?
Well, Dan could say that, but in the end, the reason why Dan has credibility with that particular argument is because Urban Meyer is 0-4. If Urban Meyer had done this while he was still a coach at Ohio State and he was winning national championships in 90% of his game, then that argument would not hold water. And so the question is, do you think this man can win football games? The reality is eradicate these 4 games of his NFL career, and Urban Meyer has shown everybody he's definitely a winner in terms of being a football coach. Maybe not a winner in life and other aspects, but as a football coach, there is no question he wins football games. Dan Orlovsky knows that.
Yeah, I just want to echo again what Keyshawn said.
Sure.
Get on the plane, go with your team, be a part of your team,
It's
winning
simple.
or losing.
It's not that difficult.
And keep yourself out of those compromising situations. Absolutely. All right, guys. Coming up, last week, Stephen's A-list certainly turned a lot of heads. It's Tuesday, and Stephen A is back with his latest NFL Top 5. Keyshawn, Jeff Saturday will be waiting to rip that apart. And Yankees, Red Sox in a loser goes home battle at Fenway. And we have the man, the myth.
I'm here, babe. Don't you worry. I'm right here. Don't you worry.
What the hell is that behind you, man? You got that? Where you get that from? what the hell got me in a cowboy hat and a cigar?
Stephen's
Oh, you trying to mock me?
baby. Stephen A's office.
Ooh, you in my office. Oh, he took over my office. He took over my New York office.
I need a wider shot of that.
I'm disgusted. Oh my goodness, I'm disgusted. All right, I'm going to clear things up. All right, are we ready for my list right now? You ready for the list, Jeff Saturday? Here we go. Number 5 on the list for this week. Give it to me, please. Bam! The Packers. Why? Because Aaron Rodgers looks like that dude again. As I always tell y'all, he's a bad man. I know he did it against my Steelers, which ain't saying much right now, considering how their offense look and how many opportunities they put the defense out on the field, exhausting them and all of that stuff. But Aaron Rodgers looks great. Devontae Adams is no joke. Randall Cobb is making his contribution. Aaron Jones is handling his business. I can't dismiss anything from the Green Bay Packers. When you got Aaron Rodgers looking the way that he's looking, you are a top 5 team in the NFL. Give me number 4, please. Give it to me right here. Bam! The Buffalo Bills. Why? I know their competition has been suspect, okay? They've won every game since losing the opener to the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I would remind y'all, whether it's Miami, whether it's the Houston Texans, the bottom line is they've got 2 shutouts on the season, and they've dropped at least 35 in each game. They're number 1 against the pass. They're number 1 in points allowed. They're number 1 in yards allowed. The defense is no joke, and the offense with Josh Allen, with Stephon Diggs and the crew, it's something to be reckoned with. We can't ignore it. They ain't this team, though. Give it to me. You know what time this is, Keyshawn. It's the Los Angeles Chargers. So far is so fly. I got to give it to that stadium. The Rams and the Chargers home turf. But the Chargers with Justin Herbert looking like that dude, okay, with Keenan Allen, with Eckler and the crew. All right, you got Derwin James, you got Nick Bosa on the other side of the football. The bottom line is when you look at the Chargers, particularly after they beat down the Las Vegas Raiders last night, they look like a complete team. Arguably the best team in the AFC at this particular moment in time. Gotta give them love. I got them at number 3. Give it to me at number 2. Look at this. Don't question my objectivity, even though I can't stand their fan base, the most disgusting, nauseating fan base in the history of American sports. I can't stand them. They make me want to throw up every day. But the bottom line is Dak looks special. Amari Cooper looks like that dude. CeeDee Lamb is balling. And now Ezekiel Elliott has got the stuff churning after everybody was wondering whether or not he was still the best running back on their team to Tony Pollard. So I got to look at what I'm seeing right now. And Quinn has that defense. They've upped the ante a little bit anytime you got Micah Parsons playing the way it is. And as far as I'm concerned right now, the defensive player of the year is that brother Trayvon Diggs, Stephon Diggs' brother. Diggs is that dude in Dallas. He is something special thus far. All right, had 2 interceptions Sunday. I got to give him love. I got the Dallas Cowboys at number 2. At number 1, you know who it is. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Why? Because Kyler Murray just looks like he looks like my eminent league MVP right now. You're looking at A.J. Green getting involved. You already know what you're going to get with DeAndre Hopkins. And that defense ain't no joke either, okay? The Arizona Cardinals are balling. They putting everybody on notice. They shellacked the Los Angeles Rams, which is why they've been removed from my top 5. You're looking at it right now. These are the top 5 teams in the NFL for this week, okay? It's the Cardinals, it's the Cowboys, it's the Chargers, it's the Bills, it's the Packers. That's Steven's A-list for the week. Jeff Saturday and Keyshawn, you know what time it is. Give your brother some props. The floor is yours.
Look, Jeff, I don't mind the list. I would organize it differently. I would take 5 and push that to 1, right, Jeff? Because clearly the Green Bay Packers, in my opinion, is the best team in the National Football League because they got the best quarterback in the National Football League. But that's on me. That's just what I look at. And then when I talk about the Chargers, the best team in the AFC, I moved them to number 2. I got the Cowboys at 3, and then I put Arizona at 4. That's just my list, Stephen A. And then the Bills come in at 5. But you can do what you need to do. It's your list. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you right now, it's a B. That's the way you constructed it. Teams are right. I just think you got it kind of confused a little bit.
Go ahead, Jeff Saturday.
I'm glad it's fluid. I'm glad it's fluid. You know what I mean? It's all about being fluid. You know what I mean? For Stephen A., we got to keep it fluid. That's the best thing about your list. What happened to the Chiefs? Are we taking them off? Are we taking?
Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
think
They lost 2 in a row before beating the Eagles.
We're going to say all of a sudden that we're not going. We're not going to put them up there. We got we got no Browns. We got no Browns on our list. Yes. Hey, listen. You are sleeping on the Cleveland. Hey, you sleep on the Cleveland Browns. Everybody wants to worry about Baker Mayfield and what his relationship with OBJ and all that kind of nonsense. They got an offensive line and a defensive line that's dominating right now, and they're going to continue to get better when they find their way back and Landry gets back and gets healthy. That is the team, but they're continuing to win. I mean, they've been embarrassing teams. They're playing great up front. You got to get them some respect now, Steve. Like I get excited the moment we went through the Chargers up there. They've had 2 good weeks in a row, but don't forget the Chiefs. Don't forget them Browns. You know what I mean? Like, let's make sure we keep them on. And I do like Keyshawn. Hold on one sec. I do like Keyshawn with the Packers. I think right now, if the Cardinals and the Packers played each other, who would win that game? I would give the edge to the Green Bay Packers right now. It's a young offensive line. They've gotten better each and every week. They have been able to run that hill. I understand how good the Cardinals are. We're going to stay fluid. But let's not forget. Let's not take the old man out because he's old just because Kyler Murray's doing some new things. Yeah. Don't forget about that Aaron Rodgers now. He's still a dude.
Week to week. Hold on, guys. Week to week, the list is fluid. You go by what you see that particular week, understanding that movement is inevitable. So what? Aaron Rodgers and them are looking that way right now. I got them top 5, but they ain't looking like the Arizona Cardinals right
but they've
now.
Been looking, but Stephen A., the Packers have been looking pretty damn good since that loss to New Orleans, man. Every single week. I know it's fluid. I know all of that. Every week they look like they're getting ready to make some noise in the NFC. The Cowboys at the same time, they look like they getting ready to make some noise. I understand Arizona went in to SoFi Stadium and handed the Rams a can of medicine. I get it. They opened it up on the Rams. But I want to wait and see a little bit longer, man. I just need to see a little bit.
Why do you need to wait? It's fluid. It's fluid. You can move them if they don't show up.
The Cardinals do that every single year, though. They show out every single year with this offense.
And here's the other thing for me. The Chargers, I know you're excited because they had a Monday night win. Everybody's excited. They beat Derek Carr and the Raiders and all that kind of stuff. I would not put them right now. I would not put them above the Cleveland Browns. I would put the Browns up above the Chargers right now. I think for the team and where they are now, the Chargers may continue
Jeff, why don't you just tell the truth, Jeff?
to excel.
Why don't you just tell the truth?
There.
You know what this is about. You're a Super Bowl champion as a lineman. You understand what I'm saying? You're biased, Jeff Saturday. You're biased because of what you said about all the stuff going on in Cleveland, and you bring up their offensive line and their defensive line. That's you, Jeff. That's what you do.
No, there's no bias. Listen, the Chargers, Tom Telesco, their general manager, they brought Lindsley from Green Bay. They got Rashawn Slater at offense. They've revamped their offensive line is playing. That's why Herbert's looking so good. Flip it over. They had 17 pressures last night against the Raiders. They had 7 by Bosa alone and 4 sacks. Nah, I got love for all my O-line and D-line. Don't be afraid. I'm just saying from the Browns, from my perspective right now, are a little edge above the Chargers. There ain't no bias here. We're always biased in them O-line, D-lines, but both of them got some squads now.
You know what? Get out of my office. Get out of my office. All right, Mom,
no,
take this over. Get out of my office, Jeff. Get out of my office now.
You did well today. You had a Stevens B list.
He gave me a B list.
Today.
This is an A list, man.
All they said to do was reorder it. Reorder it. You forgot the Rams, Bucs, Browns, and Chiefs.
We got to go commercial.
All right. Still to come on.
Couple of months, and now we're truly at the must-win portion of the schedule. So, I was asked all weekend about, is this must-win? Tomorrow's must-win, right? We got to win or we're done.
Let's welcome in someone who knows a thing or two about the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry, the one and only Alex Rodriguez. What's going on, big time? How are you, sir?
Stephen A., what's up? I'm fired up about tonight. It's going to be hype over there.
I'm definitely as well. I've got to ask you, first of all, your thoughts about what Aaron Boone just said about a one-game play. After 162 games, it comes down to one game. I'm still sick to my stomach that it's just one game as opposed to a best 2 or 3. What have been your thoughts about that?
Yeah, well, there's no question. Look, it makes great theater. Makes great television. And the bottom line is the closest thing to a football match that we have, right? And the fact is Fenway is going to be rocking and rolling. What you have to understand, Stephen A., is as a player, the longer you go in the postseason, especially the World Series, the pressure decreases tremendously. This is the most pressure any player can ever have. And this is why Hal Steinbrenner brought in Mr. Garrett Cole, 9 years, $324 million. The hopes and dreams, including yours, are squarely in the shoulders of Mr. Cole tonight.
Yankees playing in the wild card game now for the second year in a row. Is it still fair to have World Series expectations for the Yankees in your mind?
If you're the Lakers, if you're the Cowboys, and you're the Yankees, it's World Series or bust every single year. I remember Derek Jeter would say that in spring training, we got to win or it's just a bad year. And I think the same is true. Look, the Yankees have tremendous resources. They're the most successful franchise in sports history. And they have 2 players making over $300 million, and soon to be Aaron Judge, probably a third. So it's all win, they're all in, and it's just not good enough to get into a game 1 of the postseason for the Yankees.
What the hell has been up with the New York Yankees anyway? I mean, they had a 13-game winning streak, and then they lose, a 15 to 25 game. I mean, every time you turn around, it's been a complete roller coaster with this team. What's been their issue this year in your estimation?
Well, one of their issues has not been the performance of Stanton and Aaron Judge, who have both played like MVP guys, so they deserve all the credit in having this team exactly where they are today. One concerning thing is Gallo's hitting behind Stanton. If there was any clutch situation, I would not pitch to Stanton or Judge. I would try to pitch to Gallo. But they've built a team that's very inconsistent. The highs are highs and the lows are lows. When you swing and miss so much, even though they went out and got at the break some left-handed hitters, and Rizzo was a terrific pickup. You and I spoke about that. But the bottom line is they still do not make enough contact. DJ LeMahieu being down can cost them mightily this game.
What do you make about the pitching matchup in tonight's game?
Well, that's where you brought in Garrett Cole. I mean, this is the one game where you have him for. You paid him $324 million over 9 years. Is for a dream matchup like this to go on the road and not to pitch 5 or 6, Stephen A. We want 7 2/3. You want an Andy Pettit type performance tonight. Hand the ball over to the very strong bullpen and get on with your business. And whoever wins this game, usually you say, Yankees, Red Sox winner's going to blow through. They better pack their lunch because the Rays are sitting there waiting and they're hungry and ready.
What about what the Yankees are facing tonight against Evaldi? I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, Evaldi has been good and bad against the Yankees. Last outing, right here in this bump at Fenway Park, he got rocked by the Yankees. He needs to do two things. He needs to get over strike one, either with a fastball or breaking ball, and he gets into the count to put these Yankee hitters away. You got to expand with the fastball up and the split finger down. Be careful with that breaking ball in middle counts. That's a home run pitch.
Now, it's been over a decade. I mean, when you think about, the turn of this century, I'm thinking about the fact that, the Boston Red Sox have been to twice as many World Series. They've won, obviously, every time they've arrived there. I think they got like 4 and what have you. You look at the New York Yankees, there hasn't been a World Series championship in the Bronx over a decade now. I'm quite disgusted by this, Alex Rodriguez. I mean, when we think about that, if they were to end up falling tonight, how do you classify this season, and how do you move ahead if you're the Yankees organization?
Well, if they lose tonight, it's a drastic failure. I mean, obviously, you don't build the New York Yankees, the 27-time world champions, to go into a one-game playoff and a wild card on the road. It's championship or bust. And what the Yankees have to figure out, especially if they lose tonight, is where do they go from here? They have some major decisions. Obviously, Aaron Judge is a big one. You have Stanton committed. You have Gallo for next year. But Judge is the big question that everybody's going to want to know. But you have to build a team that has more contact, that has a more diverse attack offensively, and is not just swing or miss. When you think about the late 90s Yankees or even our 2009 World Championship team, we had a team that can run, they can slug, that can bunt, that can punch, and we can do it pretty much all. That's what it takes to win a World Championship. It can't be all or nothing.
Is there any trepidation whatsoever or any ambiguity about Aaron Judge? I mean, he smacked 39 home runs this year. I mean, is there any question that he's a significant part of their future?
Not for me. I mean, he is the franchise guy, and I wish they would have signed him up 2 or 3 years ago because we knew then what we know now. Now he's obviously stayed healthier, but he's a world-class human being. He's a 5-tool player. He's 6'7", 282. He embodies everything that a New York Yankee is. Could be the next captain. But it's going to be a big decision, Stephen A., because once you get into 28, 29, 30, these long-term deals have gone away. It'll be very interesting to see what the Yankee organization does, especially if they're not winners tonight.
I'm big on the Yankees-Red Sox being the best rivalry in the sport. Some would say it's the Dodgers versus the Giants. Where do you stand on that particular question?
Oh, no. Without a question, you can't deny the history of the Yankees and the Red Sox. Whether it's May 5th, July 5th is a big game. If you're talking about October 5th, this is the biggest, most pressured game these two teams will play. Even if they go on to win the World Series, there's no high-pressure game like this one tonight. Fenway's going to be rocking. The tickets are expensive. It is going to be a battle, and the winner goes home, and the loser, well, they'll be playing golf next week.
I won't ask you your prediction about tonight's game because you're calling the game, damn it. But I will ask you this. Who should be the favorite for tonight's game?
Well, I think you got to go with the guy that you gave 324 to, right? Is Garrett Cole. You come to these games and you play 163 and you have the big daddy on the mound, you should be favorites. And the Yankees, they're always going to be favorites. I'm not going to tell you who I like tonight, but all the pressure is on Garrett Cole. I think it's better that he's on the road and not at home. I think the Yankees have been better on the road. In a weird way, I like them better in Fenway than I do in Yankee Stadium tonight.
My man, Alex Rodriguez, you'll be on the call for tonight's game, my man. Appreciate you as always. Thanks a lot for being on the show, buddy.
My man.
All right. Catch the game tonight on ESPN. Molly, back to you.
Yeah, it'll be fun. 8 Eastern. Of course, it's on the app as well. Up next, the Raiders didn't seem to arrive at SoFi Stadium until the second half last night. And the heroics they had the first 3 games were nowhere to be found. They are still tied atop the AFC West, but are John Gruden's Raiders fraud?
I look at y'all laughing, Mina smiling, Stephen A. can't wait for me to answer this. I don't know that they're frauds. What I would say is that they certainly didn't show up in their home stadium last night in L.A. They certainly didn't show up. But I wouldn't call them frauds. They're still in first place. They're 3-1, okay? And when you look at a couple of their victories, you have to tip the hat off to them beating the Ravens. That's pretty damn good. You know, the Steelers beat Buffalo. We certainly felt the Steelers were better when they went into Buffalo and beat them. So you start to look at that and you go to yourself, you go, what are we looking at? I just think that they caught a team that was hot coming off a victory, and they lost a secondary. The Chargers just came off a victory beating the Chiefs. The Raiders secondary was destined.
Go ahead, Mina. I'll deal with Keyshawn in a second. I'm going to let you get a little something at him. Get at him a little bit, Mina. Go ahead.
I was hoping Keyshawn would come back at us and defend his man. And yes, Derek Carr is your man, because I've been watching this show all month. I've been hearing you say he's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's elite. He's an MVP candidate. So I don't know.
I didn't say best in the league.
You said top 5. You said top 5. You said top 5.
Okay, elite.
All right.
You said elite.
Well, okay, so now you're coming on this show with your tail between your legs, and it's not fun for me because I came with a knife and fork ready to eat you up. I don't think the Raiders are frauds either, but they're not even close to being the best team in their division. They're a wild card team at best, and we saw that last night. Keyshawn, you're right. The secondary was decimated, but the secondary is not the problem. The secondary is not why this team cannot hang with the likes of the Chargers and the Chiefs. It's the fact that they got their butts kicked in the trenches, and frankly, that's going to continue going forward. Derek Carr was under pressure, and this is actually a defense of him, on 42% of dropbacks in this game, second most in the NFL this week. That's not getting better, candidly. Like Alex Leatherwood, who was their first-round draft pick at right tackle, got whooped by Joey Bosa. Again, that's probably not going to get better. That's going to be a problem for the Raiders all season long. Then on the other side of the ball, Max Crosby played his tail off. Great pass rusher. They could not stop the run. And I just do not see that getting better. Because we're trying to project, are they frauds? Can they compete going forward? Again, good team, not a great team.
See, when we say fraud, okay, understand what that means, Mina. That means where you are compared to where folks thought you were. And for the purposes of Tuesdays, I'll call them frauds. Because here's the reality of the situation. If this were Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, that would be different. But you see, on Mondays, I got Michael Irvin. On Tuesdays, I got Keyshawn. And nobody has talked about the Raiders the way those two have talked about the Raiders, especially Keyshawn. I mean, Keyshawn is the head of the line.
I've heard it.
I will quote Keyshawn accurately.
Ooh.
Derek Carr is elite. Derek Carr is top 5. Now, granted, it's one game in Keyshawn's eyes. In my eyes, it's a replica of last year when they started off 6-3, and then they ended up losing 5 games in 6 weeks when the playoffs were on the line. That's the Derek Carr I remember. He's not a scrub. He can play.
Yes.
Decent guy, the whole bit. Not trying to excoriate him. Not trying to act like he doesn't have any potential or he should be cut or anything like that. But when we talk about Raider Nation, okay, the silver and black, and you got these people out there acting like Cowboy fans for crying out loud.
The ones that booed you? The ones that booed you last night at SoFi.
Booed me. I mean, how could you boo me? I couldn't believe it.
I would never.
I was stunned.
Would never.
And I was stunned. And then I'm going like this. Really? Is it my fault that Derek Carr got Keyshawn Johnson going to bed early because he throws an interception when the game matters? Is it my fault that Derek Carr couldn't handle pressure, was tap dancing in the pocket like the late, great Gregory Hines? Is it my fault that they gave up 21 points? They put themselves in a 21-point hole? You got Monday Night Football on a national stage, even though it was in SoFi, okay, because it's L.A., there was more Raider fans than Chargers fans. I would say at about 75-25 or 80-30, that kind of discrepancy, okay? And still, the Chargers were spanking their you-know-what. Where were the Raiders? Where was Raider Nation? We couldn't find them. So when we look at it from that perspective, all I'm trying to say is, for all the points that you pointed out, Mina, all I'm saying is this. On an average day or whatever, I would say they're a decent team. Let's see what they do. Yes. But on Tuesdays, when Keyshawn's on camera, we gonna call them fraudulent because this brother had them making noise.
Yes.
And right now, they seem very, very quiet.
Well said. Well said. Well said. Stephen A., you hit something, which is the word fraudulent. It's about perception. And you're right. The perception perpetuated by Keyshawn Johnson was that this is one of the best teams in the NFL, and I didn't see it. And I want to hit one other thing about this team that makes me question whether they belong in that top 5 conversation. After the game, you had John Gruden complaining about the weather delay and the roof and the visiting locker room. If your head coach is complaining about that stuff and saying that's why we had a slow start, you're not a Super Bowl team. I'm sorry. That's just weak.
Well, it might be weak. It may be weak. There's no question about it. But what I would say about the Raiders, they got to clean up their act a little bit, right? They had some penalties that I hadn't seen them have in the first 3 games, uncharacteristic stuff. You're right, Mina. Leatherwood, get him out. Like, he jumping offside, he was afraid of Bosa. You can't win games that way. And I know John Gruden will correct that, and he'll let him know this week in film study as well as in practice. Do I think they're frauds? No. Do they got a long ways to go? Yes. Are they winning games right now? Yes. They are 3-1. It's a long season, Stephen A. It is a long damn season.
Are we going to take elite out of that conversation? Are we going to take top 5 quarter? We going to get rid of those superlatives? We going to get rid of those?
Nope. Not right now. Not right now.
All right.
No.
All right. I give you credit for sticking to your point. As wrong as you are, at least you're sticking to your point.
Okay, let's move on. Chargers haven't won the division since 09, Raiders 02. Mina staying with us. Still to come here on First Take. After taking some lumps through 3 weeks, some of this year's rookie quarterbacks seem to break through this weekend. But which of these rookies will finish with the most wins this season? Plus, we are 2 weeks away from the start of the NBA season. Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have not yet been able to bring a title to the Clippers, and we don't know when or if we'll see the claw back this season. So will the Clippers take a step back? Stephen A's countdown can be a little bit through the first 3 weeks. Zach Wilson, Justin Fields notched their first wins of their career, while Mac Jones and company came awfully close to spoiling Tom Brady's return to Foxborough. Keyshawn, you are up first, sir. Which rookie quarterback's going to win the most games this season?
Ooh. Man, well, I can tell you right now, it won't be Trevor Lawrence. It won't be Zach Wilson. I don't know if Trey Lance will get the full-time nod now that Jimmy G is sidelined for a little bit. I think Justin Fields is going to get the full-time gig, and then Mac Jones obviously is a starter. With that being said, I think it's Justin Fields. When you talk about what Matt Nagy has to do, he has to continue to put this young man in the right position to help that team win games. And we saw that they did it. Bill Lazor did it. He didn't throw for a ton of yards. He didn't throw for any touchdowns. But you can tell, based on the team and how they respond to him, that he has the ability to lead the charge. Now, the schedule's going to be tough. There's no question about it. They got the Green Bay Packers, and they've got Minnesota in there, and they've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in there. It's going to be a rough schedule. But it's going to be rough for everybody else, too, including Mac Jones. Mac Jones got a tough road ahead as well. But I think when you talk about winning the most games of these rookies, I believe it's Justin Fields. I don't mean it might. I'm not saying it's going to be 9 or 10 or 11, but I think it'll be more than the other rookies.
Go ahead, Mina.
All right, I'll go first. He left a lot on the table for us, Stephen A. And I'll start here with a caveat, which is I think Justin Fields has higher upside as a quarterback. I felt like that before the draft. I continue to feel like that. Thought he played great. But the question was, which rookie quarterback wins the most games? The Bears have the second hardest remaining schedule in the NFL. So starting there, just purely looking at the opponents, it's going to be a rough road for Justin Fields if he starts. Matt Nagy won't even say he's going to start. Like Mac Jones is the unequivocal starter. To me, when we talk about games and winning, and I hate QB wins as a statistic. I think it's a totally false statistic because, as you know, Keyshawn, football is a team sport. So let's look at these two teams. Mac Jones has better coaches. He's got a better defense. They played really well, by the way, against Tampa. He's got a better offensive line, and they're figuring out how to call plays for him. Again, this is not a referendum on Justin Fields. I think his upside is really high. But if we're going to ask which of these rookie quarterbacks is going to win more games, it's Mac Jones because he plays for the New England Patriots.
Yeah. And that brings me to Keyshawn Johnson. What has happened to you? I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you sitting here telling me that, you know Matt Nagy is the coach of the Chicago Bears? You know he's the coach. and this dude can't even make up his mind what week Justin Fields is going to start.
No, but see, Stephen A., here's why I correct you and Mina at. Just because he won't tell you who's a starter don't mean he don't know. Just because he won't tell us, the media, well, I'm not part of the media, but you guys.
Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are.
Just because he won't say, I had this conversation a week ago when he said all 3 guys are up, we're taking a look at it. I said Justin Fields going to be the damn starter, man. He knows who the starter's going to be. Don't fall for the okie doke. He cannot go back to Andy Dalton. He cannot do that. And I understand, Mina, it is a tough schedule. But Mac Jones got a tough schedule too now. Don't act like Mac Jones' schedule is chopped liver.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I actually got it right in front of me, Stephen A. He's got
I got
the
the schedule.
Texans,
I got the schedule in front of me.
the Jets, the Titans, the Colts,
Wait, hold
the
on,
Jaguars, the Dogs.
Back up, Mina. Hold on. You mentioned the Jets and the Houston Texans. Give them that, right? We assume that. But you act like the Titans don't have Bill Belichick's number, and just because they lost without their 2 stud receivers, that's a bad football team all of a sudden.
All right, Keyshawn, first of all, your strategy ain't gonna fly, my brother. You know what? You can't do all the talking and let us run out of time to get back at you. That ain't gonna work, okay? That's not gonna work. So let me ask you this question. Keyshawn. It's ball control, right? Let me give him the damn ball. Here's the question, Keyshawn. Who's the best coach in the history of football, in your estimation?
Bill Belichick, not even a question.
And you know Bill Belichick. That's your man. You know Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
Y'all cool. Y'all communicate with one another.
I agree. He's the best.
All right. And who does he coach right now?
Man, he coaching Mac Jones, man.
All right. And by the way, and him against Matt Nagy. I mean, that's like a Pop Warner player against you.
But we
I mean,
ain't
are you
going up
kidding
against
me?
each other. They not going up against each other.
But coaching matters. Coaching matters.
Keyshawn,
in football,
the question was
coaching
wins.
matters.
Every now and then, there's a special talent that can outplay bad coaching. You do understand that, Stephen A.
I don't think Justin Fields is that against New England. I'm saying I don't think he's that being coached by Matt Nagy. No, I don't believe it. And by the way, Mina, let me read this schedule. Let's read the Chicago Bears schedule because I think Keyshawn forgot. So they got the Raiders up next.
Man, I
they got
said
the Packers
tough schedule. You don't need to rub it in.
Packers after that. Buccaneers after that. 49ers after that. First of all, the Chicago Bears might lose 4 in a row right now. They might lose 4 in a row right now. They ain't going to be favored for any of these games.
See,
they might lose 4 in a row right now.
Now I got to defend myself because you and Mina trying to attack me. The Dallas
this
Cowboys,
is a change of events.
the Patriots do play the Dallas Cowboys. Okay? They do got the Chargers. They do got the Panthers and the Browns to follow that up.
Those are winnable games. Those are winnable games.
We can just
those are winnable games.
Look. We can all just name the schedules and read off the games, but FPI, our Football Power Index, has the Chicago Bears facing the second hardest and the Patriots 16th. It is what it is, Keyshawn.
That changes
and to your point about coaches going against each other, we're factoring in everything. Stephen A.
Mina, did you hear what Keyshawn just said?
We're considering the protection. Right. We're considering the defenses. Football is a team sport, and it's the question about wins.
Mina, did you hear what Keyshawn just said? He said it's fluid. That's what he said. It's fluid. You see, you hear what he said, right? I wonder where he got that from.
I wasn't focused on that. I prefer when they double team you. I like when Mina's against you a little more, but I guess we had to change it up today.
That's what it is.
Okay, let's not get cocky. Let's not get cocky, LA. All right, settle down, Hollywood Steve. All right, well, it's still early, guys. Let's take a look at the NFC teams with the best chance to represent in the Super Bowl. The Bucs lead the pack as they bid to repeat as champions, but they're closely followed by the Cardinals, who remain the NFL's only undefeated team, with the Cowboys, Rams, and the Packers rounding out the top 5. Mina, talk to me. Best team in the NFC.
Oh, the alliance between me and Stephen A. It was so beautiful. It lasted, but it's over now because I'm a Dallas believer. I think the teams you put out there are the clear top 5. The Packers, I'm concerned about Jair Alexander's injury. The Bucs, the secondary is in shambles. I think it's very close between Arizona and Dallas. These two quarterbacks right now are playing better football than any quarterback in the league. However, I have more faith in the sustainability of what the Cowboys are doing on offense. They're leading the NFL on first down, dominant offensive line, crushing souls in the run game. Dak Prescott mentally is playing at another level, and the defense took me by surprise. They look competent. So I'm going to ride with Dallas. I think they're playing really good football right now. I got faith in the Star.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I would say Stephen A. and Mina, I kind of agree with you, Mina. Right now, Dallas might be the best team in the NFC, although I think Green Bay is right there too. I understand they got a little injury, but that dude 12, man, it's just something about him at the quarterback spot that he makes everybody else just better. And it seems like he's having fun again. And when a quarterback like this is having fun, his teams become really dangerous. Randall Cobb just got a second wave in his NFL career because he hooked up with Aaron Rodgers. I ain't heard of Randall Cobb since he left Green Bay.
Well, I understand that. And greatness has a way of making other people looking better than what they are, and we will concede that. But when I look at the Arizona Cardinals and I think about Kyler Murray and the dual threat that he is, what he brings to the table, how we would be talking about him even more so if it wasn't for the electrifying talents of a Lamar Jackson. That comes into consideration. I'm thinking about DeAndre Hopkins and the resurrection of A.J. Green now that Kyler Murray and Kingsbury are getting him more involved. And Christian Kirk, let's not forget about him as well. I'm thinking about them from the running back position, and I like what I'm seeing there as well. Chase Edmonds and James Conner, that's a dual backfield right now, particularly James Conner in short yardage situations. Now that he doesn't have the Steelers' offensive line blocking for him because he's in Arizona now, I'm thinking about that. And then I'm thinking about Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt and the crew, but a Baker and the crew in Arizona on the defensive side of the ball. And I'm going to say, wait a minute. I'm looking at Arizona right now, the way they shellacked the Los Angeles Rams and humbled Matthew Stafford and basically let Sean McVay know you don't get away with prioritizing Cooper Kupp by doubling up on the amount of times you target him compared to everybody else. I'm thinking about all of those things. And right now, what I see from a Kyler Murray and what a playmaker he is and how they're playing football, I'm of the mindset that the Arizona Cardinals right now are the best team in the conference. We could call Dallas close all we want to, but what we're really doing is conceding that we expected so little of Dallas on the defensive side of the ball that the fact that Quinn has them playing better on the defensive side of the ball is why we're overly impressed with them. So be it, because we all knew their offense was going to be elite. Arizona, to me, is the team to look out for in the NFC right now. Aaron Rodgers
What
is
about
coming.
the Rams? We all forgot about the Rams?
Because they got beat down by Arizona this past Sunday.
Yeah, but it's just one game.
Yeah, but they got blown out. I'm going to put Arizona above
They got work. They got work, Molly.
I'm talking to Mina. I'm going to talk to Mina on this one here, and then I'll go to you, Kate. Mina, are you off on the Rams?
No, I'm not. I think it was an off game. Stafford missed some uncharacteristic throws. They were dominating in the run game. I think he got out of hand. Frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams win this one when they rematch. But I just want to say one thing about Dallas as well. I understand the question was right now. But let's have this conversation again in November, later in the year. Because, guys, they are doing all of this without Michael Gallup, Lyle Collins, and their best pass rusher, DeMarcus Lawrence. That's what's so impressive to me about this Dallas team is the depth they've shown.
Yeah, when you talk about
and Kate, why are you off the Rams and the Bucks? I get that the Bucks lost and they were in Foxborough, but they were down a bunch of guys. It was raining.
I'm not off them per se, but right now I am, because what I saw Dallas do to a Carolina team minus Christian McCaffrey and go and take care of a defense that was the number one defense in the National Football League. Yeah, I watched them just offensively do what they needed to do. I mean, it was just, it was smooth. It was no clunkiness. They had their way with them, and they found Ezekiel Elliott. When everybody was having a conversation a week ago, talking about Zeke should give way to Pollard, did they pay Zeke too much money, yada, 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 and all he did was go out there and rip off 100-plus yards in a tub. So I look at them and I say that defense is only getting better, and as you look, they're only going to get better as time goes on. Much like Mina said, talk to me in December. I just think the Cowboys are here to stay.
In other words, Molly, everyone can't be top 5. That's number one. I mean, and it's fluid. It's fluid.
Yeah.
Keyshawn hasn't said it.
But this isn't a week-to-week list, so I just want to make sure we're not being too prisoner of the moment after week 4.
Because every week they go see that. Like, for example, a week ago you had your head buried in your hands, lamenting the state of the Giants. Now they won a game. You feel different, right? Don't you feel different? It's fluid.
Puff your chest out a little bit.
It's fluid.
Okay, thank you for that. I'm going to retire that word for the rest of the show. Mina, thank you for being with us. Baker and the Browns are tied for the division lead, but one of our guys says they aren't impressed with Cleveland, why the dog pound needs to be concerned in just a bit. Plus, NBA season, Stephen A., you getting excited?
Yeah.
Right around the corner, we got a countdown to the NBA tipping off Stephen A.'s top 10 storylines. But not the Lakers. We'll get to them. Today, it's the Clippers' turn, and Kendrick Perkins will join us for this. Stephen A.? The floor is yours. What Clippers storyline are you keeping an eye on?
Well, the Clippers storyline I'm keeping an eye on is the fact that, first of all, whether or not Kawhi Leonard is going to, or how early he's going to return. That's the biggest component about the Los Angeles Clippers. The other thing is that do you expect them to fall off? I do expect them to fall off a little bit, and here's why. You were in the Western Conference Finals last year for the first time in franchise history. Ty Lue is clearly one of, if not the best coach in the NBA at this particular moment in time. I certainly believe in him. But I don't know if this roster is going to get you back to the conference finals because I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm looking at Phoenix, who's still going to be relevant. I'm looking at the Denver Nuggets with Jamal Murray coming back eventually. I'm looking at Utah. Obviously, they're the team to be reckoned with. And so when I look at the Western Conference, I would absolutely positively love, Perk, the Lakers and the Clippers to meet in the conference finals. That would be a dream matchup for me. Don't know if it's going to get to that point. I think that because of some personnel changes, because of the questionable health of Kawhi Leonard, I don't see the Clippers getting back to the Western Conference Finals.
Well, I mean, you know, when I look at the Clippers right now, and I look at their roster, and I look at Ty Lue, one thing we know about Ty Lue is that he's one of the best coaches in the game today, and he showed us that last year in the postseason. He tends to get the best out of players. And when you look at Paul George, right? Paul George thrives well when he's the number one guy. And we saw his confidence take a tremendous leap last year in the postseason, along with Reggie Hot Sauce Jackson. That's what they call him in the locker room. Hot Sauce Jackson. We watched Reggie Jackson. He got his confidence. He said the Clippers saved his career. And we look at that combination and what they did along in the backcourt in the postseason. They were one of the best duos in the NBA. And then you add Marcus Morris, a guy that has proven to us that he could go out there and get you 17 to 20 points a night, along with Big Zubac anchor in the middle, showing us that he could be a live threat, protect the basket, rebound. You have Nicholas Batum, who's playing a role that he needs to play in, meaning not being a $120 million guy, but being a guy that could guard multiple positions, rebound, and knock down corner threes. And now you add an Eric Bledsoe, who needs a coach like Ty Lue. I'm looking at the Clippers. Will they be in the finals or the Western Conference Finals? No, but they're going to be right in the thick of things. They are still a playoff team. And when Kawhi gets back, because I believe that he will come back off this ACL injury this season, and he could get about 10 to 15 games under his belt before the postseason start, you better watch the hell out. The Clippers will be right there back in the thick of things in the Western Conference Finals.
Hey, Perk, let me ask you this question, though, as my NBA guy, right? You my NBA guy, so I'm coming to you. What?
What you trying to say? What you trying to say? I mean, I love Perk.
No,
what you trying to say?
Hold on, Stephen. Stephen A., I was going to get there to you, too.
Okay. All right.
As my other guy in the NBA, let me ask y'all something. I'm a billionaire, and I just paid two guys, not once but twice, to get me what? A playoff berth? I just paid Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. I got rid of Doc Rivers because we all felt that we needed to move on from Doc, which was the right move at the time, to hire Ty Lue, which is a hell of a coach, to get me what? An appearance in a conference final? An appearance in the playoffs? No.
Hold on.
Not at all.
Hold on.
I paid to win it all.
Hold on.
And they not coming close to winning it all.
Well, first of all,
it's the experiment. The experiment has been a complete failure, man, when I'm spending that type of money.
That's false, Keyshawn.
How so?
You got to let me answer you, bro. Got to let me answer you now.
Go right ahead.
Here's the deal. The first year was a complete collapse that they need to be held accountable for. They had a 3-1 lead in the conference semifinals. The Lakers were waiting for them in the bubble because the Lakers had handled their business. It was supposed to be the encounter we had waited for with Kawhi going up against LeBron. And they gave up a 3-1 lead. Then both Paul George and Kawhi Leonard folded in Game 7. Jamal Murray dropped 40, and that was that. Last year was different. Kawhi Leonard goes down, Game 5, Utah. They still pull out that series. And when they pull out that series, they advance to the Western Conference Finals for the first time without Kawhi Leonard. Your point would be valid if Kawhi Leonard hadn't gotten hurt, because a lot of us believe that if Kawhi Leonard had not gotten hurt, they would have beat the Phoenix Suns and they would have been in the finals against Milwaukee. But that didn't happen because of an injury to Kawhi Leonard. If he never got injured, Keyshawn, your point is valid. Because he got injured, that's what happened.
Injuries happen in the game. There's no question about it, Perk, that they was on their way to something possibly special. But guess what? It didn't happen that way. So now when we're looking at it, Kawhi is out extended period of time. You say maybe late year, comes back, get healthy for the playoffs, whatnot. That may not happen. And what if it doesn't happen and I'm the owner and I'm sitting there to continuing to spend money to get to where, when it's only going to get better, as you said, in the Western Conference? Y'all didn't even mention Golden State. Y'all didn't even mention that. Y'all,
I should have.
You ain't even mention. You just forgot all about them. Hey, look, Stephen A., you forgot all about them, right? and then the old team that shares the same arena with the Clippers. We ain't even mention them because they so old. We don't even talk about them.
No, I got them going to the finals.
I'm saying we just glossed right over the Lakers.
Yeah,
we glossed right over
them.
The finals. And so when you look at that, come on, man, explain that to me.
Look, Stephen A., I can't believe you actually felt for the bait that Keyshawn dangled out there. He caught a big old catfish, and that was you, all right? You fell for it. He threw his line in the water, and you was hungry this morning. Listen, you have to realize, okay, Keyshawn is a Lakers fan. So this is personal with him. Okay, this is personal. Yeah, it is. This is personal with you, big dog, and I know this. But listen, this is what I'm telling you. If Kawhi Leonard doesn't go down last year, the way that the Clippers was playing, the confidence that they had, the way that Tyler was getting the best out of his players, the Clippers would have went to the NBA Finals. Let's make that clear. But when you look at what Steve Ballmer did by paying Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, yes, it is for now, but it's also for the future. We have to remember both of those guys still have about 3 or 4 great years of their prime left in them. So with that being said, he's saying, you know what? I know Kawhi needs to get through this injury. I'm not saying we're just going to settle for anything, but I'm saying come next year and the year after next, we are in good hands, especially when that arena goes up in Inglewood. They're going to be in good hands with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. And you had to pay them. You know why? They gave up 1,500 draft picks to Oklahoma City to get Paul George. Look at what all they gave up to get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George on the same team. So you had to pay them. You couldn't afford to lose them in free agency, Keyshawn. But with that being said, the Clippers as constructed, if they're in the playoff mix by the time April comes around, they have done their job. If they're a top 17 in the Western Conference, they have done their job being able to sustain without Kawhi Leonard.
All right.
October 21st, they open up their season at Golden State. Looking forward to that. We'll be talking a lot of NBA the next couple weeks. Getting excited. Big Perk, always good to see you, sir. We'll talk to you soon. Still to come, Baker Mayfield's Browns are in a 3-way tie atop the AFC North, but he's